almost every day of my life, a Canadian will come up to me and shake my hand and say, you know, thank you for one of the greatest thrills of my life.
It's back to Henderson.
2-0. All was right in Canada.
It was very, very important for me to put these Russians in their place. I mean, they were the big, bad Russians, and Canada, this is the one thing that we are the best at.
Henderson for Canada, centers out to Ellis, a guy to score! Clark deflected that one into the net.
Montreal's 7-3 win changed their mandate. Now they were instructed to win it all. And while they enjoyed Canadian hospitality, they churned inside. The pause in action allowed for some ice-breaking, but everyone was obsessed with what had happened.
The worst thing is to overestimate yourself and underestimate your opposition.
And now Lebedev is dumped by Henderson. Here's Canada coming in out of break. Right in that goal, right in, score!
Shades of what would come. Canada's last goal, Paul Henderson.
From the face-off, the puck slides into the Canadian zone. 6:18 remaining in the second period. Here's a loose puck for Henderson. Right in, scores! Henderson went racing in there to get a loose puck. And he fired it home for Canada to bring back that 2-goal lead.
The score remained 4-4 through the final period. We played on pure instinct and raw courage, but the game was slipping away. When chance appeared, Tretiak closed the door. Canadians, 3,500 strong. They became a factor in stark contrast to the impassive Moscow bureaucrats who gobbled up the Luzhniki tickets. 9 minutes later, Paul Henderson's star in ascent. He made it 3-0. The thrown-together line of Henderson, Clark, and Ellis hit stride. Then, in a moment, it was nearly pulled apart.
The defenseman tripped me, and it spun me around, and I was going at full tilt, and I knew I was going to go into the boards. Out cold. Joe Scrow, the trainer, told me, came out and he broke 3 of the ammonia packs under my nose even before I came around. And I was totally out of it.
The crowd was gripped in shocked silence. Henderson summoned courage as the game went on. By the intermission, he'd made up his mind.
You know, I was crying. I said, Harry, you've got to let me play. And so he looked at the doctor, and the doctor says, well, you know, he says, I can't stop you. But he says, I'm telling you, you probably should not play. You got a slight concussion. And I said, well, you know, let's go. And so Harry said, okay. And so we went back out.
Clark takes a long pass to Henderson. He's in with Flair. Right in on goal. He can score! Henderson from Clark. It's beautiful. Set up play by Clark. And Henderson came back from his injury to score his second goal of the night. Here's why it's so important to headman the puck. Henderson was breaking on his wing. He had a lot of ice. Bobby Clark put the dump pass way up into the middle. Henderson skates on top of it and walks in all alone and drills another goal by Tretiak. And 2 of the 3 have been added starters. Now then Canada coming up. It's good. Oh, Henderson! Let's go with a long drive. And Canada takes the 2-goal lead.
2 minutes left. Cue Paul Henderson.
To the defense, goes right in the goal, he scores! Henderson! Right through the score for Canada! A beautiful goal by Paul Henderson!
I tried to make a little move and lost the puck off the guy's skate. He come over, kicked it in behind, and I felt myself going down, and I looked up, and there was only one place to put it, and I was right under the bar. And boy, it went under the bar, and I'll tell you, one of the greatest feelings. And you know, when I watched the replay today, I mean, if there's any one goal that I could sit there and watch for 2 hours, it's that goal I scored in the 7th game.
2 must-win games, and for Henderson, 2 game winners.
In tremendous style, just pulling his way right through.
It will never again be the same as it was in '72. The series with Canada was an historic affair, forever inscribed in the history of the game. It was also critical towards developing hockey throughout Europe and the world.
1:02 left in the game.
All who watched remember exactly where they were. A hush fell across our land.
I really had a sense that I could score a goal. I started yelling at Peter Mikhailov to come off the ice, and for some reason Peter did come off. As Peter came over to the bench, I was looking at the play, of course, and as I jumped over the boards, I saw that Yvon Cornway had the puck at the far boards, and I immediately started yelling Yvon as hard as I could. The Russian defenseman by this time had come out to reach me, and I fell. As I got up, of course, being aware of the play, I saw that Phil Esposito was going to intercept a pass, and before I even had time to yell at Phil, he just whacked it at Tretiak right here. I got the puck and I tried to immediately shoot it along the ice into the corner of the goal. Tretiak stopped it with his pad. The puck came right back to me. He was down and out, and I had about a foot to put it in. I turned and Yvon Cornway was there, and I jumped into his arms, gave him a bear hug, and then Big Phil came around, and the three of us were there.
Cornway has it on that wing. Here's a shot. Henderson made a